Leo, something big is coming this Thursday and it's financial. Not theoretical. Not one day soon. I'm talking about a real, measurable shift that's already moving toward you in silence. Whether you see it yet or not, September 18th is not just a date on the calendar. It's a moment the universe has been preparing with your name on it. You didn't land on this video by accident. Even if you clicked out of curiosity or habit, something deeper brought you here. And if you've been feeling like something's brewing just beneath the surface of your life, some subtle pull, a strange peace before the storm, you're right to pay attention. This isn't just another horoscope reading. This is a checkpoint in your journey. Right now, the Sun, your ruling planet, is forming a rare and powerful trine with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and divine reward. That's not just astrological language. It's a spiritual signal. When the King of Light meets the Giant of Blessings, doorways open. But not for everyone. Only for those who are awake enough to notice, and brave enough to walk through them. That's where you come in. You've carried a lot lately. You've shown up, worked hard, given more than you had, maybe without recognition, maybe without a return. And I see you. More importantly, the universe sees you. This week, it's not asking for more effort. It's offering a moment of alignment. A window of grace. You don't have to push harder. You have to listen better. Leo, this Thursday may not start with fireworks. It might feel like any other day. But if you pay attention, if you tune in instead of rushing past it, you'll start to notice the signs. That message. That email. That number. That hunch. They won't be loud. But they'll be real. That's how divine timing works. It's quiet, but it never misses. You're not here to chase blessings. You're here to receive what's already been written for you. And this week, something is being released that has your energy signature on it. So take a breath. Place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself honestly, am I ready to receive without forcing it? Because this isn't about striving. It's about resonance. It's about being in the right place, at the right time, with the right awareness. And Leo, you're there. Let me take a moment to thank you for being here. Your presence matters. Every comment you leave, every like, every time you subscribe or share it doesn't just help this channel. It helps deepen the spiritual work we're doing together. It says, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to align. I'm part of this. So don't just watch. Join. Let me know in the comments, what brought you here today? What part of you is ready for a breakthrough? If any part of this resonated with you, take a moment and write this below to confirm it within yourself and send it into motion. I'm ready for a divine financial shift. 777. Stay with me through the rest of this message. What we're about to explore together may change the way you understand what's really been happening behind the scenes. Trust me, by the time we're done, you won't feel like you're waiting anymore. You'll know you're already receiving. Leo, if you've made it this far, then you're already standing at the threshold of something rare, something divinely timed. That sense of unease you felt lately? The inner tension that tells you something's about to break, but you're not quite sure what? That's not confusion. That's preparation. Because September 18th isn't just a date. It's alignment in motion. And what's unfolding has been building beneath the surface for a long time. Let me break it down in a way that makes sense, not as an astrologer throwing technical terms at you, but as someone who knows what it feels like to wait, to hope, and to wonder if it's ever really going to be your turn. This Thursday, the Sun forms a perfect trine with Jupiter. And while that may sound like astrological jargon, what it really means is this: your will and your reward are finally speaking the same language. The Sun represents your drive, your identity, the part of you that wakes up each morning trying to make something happen. Jupiter is the cosmic amplifier. When they work together, things grow. And not just in theory, this is real-world impact. Momentum. Doors that were once locked, suddenly creaking open. Not because you forced them, but because the lock was finally ready to turn. On top of that, the moon is passing through Sagittarius, a sign that doesn't tolerate small thinking. It stretches you. It challenges your perception of what's possible. And that's not always comfortable, but it's necessary. The moon governs your inner world, your feelings, your instincts. So when it travels through Sagittarius, you're asked to dream bigger, to hope again, even if the past has given you every reason not to. Now let's talk about Venus. She's finally moving forward again after a long retrograde. And that's huge. Because when Venus is in reverse, love and money feel stuck. Communication stalls. Relationships feel strained. Finances can get tight. But when she turns direct, as she has now, the flow returns. Emotional and financial blockages begin to dissolve. You may not see the full result immediately, but you'll feel it. In the tone of someone's voice. In an opportunity you thought had passed that suddenly reappears. In your own openness to receive again. And here's the part one never want to skip over: the deeper, quieter truth most people overlook. September 18th, in numerology, reduces to the number 9. This number doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't scream success. But it's powerful in its own way. It marks the closing of a chapter. A completion. A kind of invisible harvest. Not everything you planted will bloom, but some of it will. And what survives now, what finally emerges, is what was meant to last. Sometimes, when we've been pushing and praying for so long, we miss the moment when the answer actually arrives. Because we expect it to be loud, obvious, immediate. But this Thursday won't shout. It will whisper. It will offer. It will invite. And you have to slow down enough to hear the invitation. What if everything that didn't work out was simply preparing space for what will? What if the delay wasn't denial but divine choreography? And what if the breakthrough isn't just coming but has already started forming, quietly, behind the scenes? There's a verse I come back to in seasons like this one that reminds me how much trust plays a role in transition. The kingdom of God is like a man who casts seed on the ground, and though he sleeps, the seed sprouts and grows, she knows not how. You don't have to understand it all. You just have to believe something good is growing. And this Thursday, Leo, is when it begins to break through the surface. Stay open. Stay present. And don't walk past your moment just because it doesn't look the way you thought it would. The shift is already here. All you have to do is step into it. Sometimes, what looks ordinary on the outside is quietly extraordinary on the inside. Leo, I want to talk to you today not about loud victories, but about the kind of breakthroughs that tiptoe into your life while your attention is elsewhere. The ones you don't recognize until you look back and realize that everything changed because of that one quiet moment you didn't rush past. That's how financial miracles tend to appear during times like this, especially under the energy of September 18th. You may not wake up to fireworks. No sudden windfall or dramatic announcement. But what you might get is a message that seems casual, text from someone you haven't heard from in a while. A missed call you nearly ignore. A strange urge to revisit an old idea you once gave up on. And tucked inside those quiet nudges? The beginning of something much bigger than you imagined. The mistake we often make is thinking that abundance has to feel like a drum roll. But the truth is, financial shifts, especially the ones that last, and usually announce themselves with glitter. They start in the spaces we overlook. In the parking lot conversation. In the dream that felt so real you woke up wondering if it meant something. In the half second of, what if I tried this again? The energy around this week doesn't require you to do more. It asks you to pay more attention. Because what's coincidental on the surface may actually be deeply coded with purpose. Call it a nudge. A whisper. A gentle tap on your shoulder from something greater that says, look again. One thing I always recommend during portals like this one is a small but powerful act of anchoring. Write down your deepest financial intention, not just a dollar amount, but what that money would mean for your peace, your freedom, your ability to show up more fully in the world. Make it real by putting it into words, not just thoughts. And when you're done, add the number 777. Not as superstition but as signal. A conscious declaration that says, I believe I'm aligned with what I've asked for. That number, in numerology and frequency alignment, carries the vibration of spiritual fulfillment, divine timing, and soul-level readiness. It doesn't force outcomes. It matches you with them. What I've seen over and over again in my own life and in the lives of those I guide is that when people slow down enough to witness the small things, those small things open up into major turning points. The idea you scribbled on a napkin. The side hustle you put on hold. The person you forgave silently in your heart. These are not detours. They are instructions. The universe is often less interested in giving us big signs than it is in seeing if we'll respond to the small ones. So if something calls your attention this Thursday, even if it feels random, even if it's just a flash of curiosity, follow it. You don't need a master plan. You just need a moment of yes. I know this may sound simple. But simple doesn't mean small. Some of the most profound turning points in life come in quiet clothes. And if there's one thing I've learned from guiding people through seasons like this, it's that magic rarely looks magical while it's happening. It looks like a conversation. A choice. A step. A shift. This Thursday, stay present enough to catch the shift while it's still small. Write down what you want. Sign it with 777. Then watch what begins to move, not with force, but with flow. The miracle won't come because you chased it. It will come because you recognized it when it arrived. It's easy to believe that the only way to change your life is to chase after something. We're taught that striving equals success, that hustle equals worth. But Leo, here's a deeper truth most people never learn until they're exhausted from running. You are not meant to chase miracles. You are meant to align with demand, let them arrive. If the last few months have felt like pushing a door that won't open, it's not because you're weak or unworthy. It's because the lock was never meant to be forced. You've been doing everything you know how to, showing up, staying committed, staying hopeful even when results didn't come. That counts for more than you realize. And the universe does not forget what you've sown in silence. Sometimes, the quiet seasons in life are not a punishment. They are an energetic reset. A rebalancing. A backstage rearrangement of everything that needed to shift in order for you to actually receive what you've been asking for. And it's not easy to sit in that quiet. It tests your patience, your faith, your sense of self-worth. But that stillness is sacred. It's where the next chapter prepares itself to begin. Think of it this way, a radio only picks up the right frequency when it stops the static. You can't hear the music of your breakthrough if you're always caught up in noise, outer noise, inner noise, emotional clutter. That's why the work now is less about action, and more about clearing space. Emotional space. Physical space. Energetic space. Maybe you don't need another task. Maybe you need to breathe deeper. Maybe what's next for you isn't about what else you can do, but how much more you're willing to receive. This is the season to create room. That means letting go of what's already taken up too much space in your nervous system: overwhelm, fear, frustration, or even old stories about how hard things have to be. You can start by doing small, practical things that send a signal to your subconscious: I'm preparing for something good. Clean out that drawer that's been bothering you. Donate what you no longer use. Light a candle in your home, not just for the scent, but for the symbolism of welcoming new energy in. Reset your wallet not just in how much it holds, but in how it feels when you open it. Create physical rituals that mirror the emotional shift you're ready for. Because Leo, the truth is, your reward is not being withheld. It's being aligned. And alignment doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in resonance. And that resonance begins with you choosing to believe that you are enough, not because you earned it, but because you are inherently magnetic to the things that match your healed energy. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to pretend you're not tired. You only need to get clear enough, soft enough, still enough to allow what is already looking for you to find its way in. This is the difference between force and flow. Between trying harder and allowing more. Between survival and expansion. So if things feel still right now, let them. Don't fill the silence with panic. Fill it with presence. Breathe into it. Take care of your space. Nourish your nervous system. Tend to your spirit like you would a garden just before spring. Because the energy that finds you next will match the way you've prepared the soil. And trust Muhat's coming will not need to be chased. It will recognize you. If you've been feeling like you're on the edge of something but not sure what that something is, this next part is where the shift begins to take shape. Energy without grounding is just potential. And miracles, no matter how subtle or powerful, still need a place to land. That's where intention meets action. Not action in the forceful, exhausting sense, but in the kind that whispers, I'm ready. Let's start with your mindset. I've seen it time and time again. People declare that they want abundance, yet everything in their energy field screams urgency, fear, or lack. And it's not their fault. We've all been taught to chase, to grasp, to push harder when life feels uncertain. But here's the thing. Abundance doesn't come to the one who begs for it, it comes to the one who makes space for it. So rather than telling yourself, I need more money, try shifting to, money is already on its way to me. Or instead of repeating, I feel stuck, try gently reminding yourself, I am opening to new possibilities. It may feel strange at first, like telling a new story you don't fully believe yet. But the more you speak it, the more your body begins to believe it. And your energy starts to catch up with your intention. One of the simplest ways to anchor that shift is with repetition. Take a moment on the morning of September 18th to write or speak a few aligned affirmations. Keep them simple. Keep them honest. Speak them not from desperation, but from readiness. Try, I am ready to receive divine financial flow 777. Or, I attract money with calm, clarity, and purpose. And maybe even, every action I take today brings me closer to the miracle that's already unfolding. Now let's talk about the body, because your nervous system is part of your spiritual ecosystem. The way you eat, breathe, and move on a day like this affects how well you actually receive what's trying to reach you. So skip the heavy, dense foods if you can. Go light. Hydrate. Think clarity over comfort. A warm glass of lemon water in the morning. A walk without your phone. A few minutes of breath work or gentle yoga, especially heart-opening poses that physically tell your body, it's safe to open. It's safe to receive. There's something powerful about connecting the physical with the energetic. When you light a candle, clean your space, or refresh your wallet, not for superstition but for clarity, sending a very clear message to the universe. There is room here. I've prepared a space, inside and out. And as for your work, don't pressure yourself to produce or prove something grand. This isn't a day for performance. It's a day for presence. If your intuition nudges you to reach out to someone, it. If your body tells you to slow down and breathe, listen. Some days are made for making moves. But others, like this one, are made for alignment, trust, and tuning in. Even in matters of love, especially on this day, let your heart speak. Write the message you've been holding back. Express affection without attachment. Sometimes, when you open your heart, other doors open too. Love and money often flow through the same channel of self-worth. When you believe you are worthy of receiving in one area, it naturally expands to others. This is your time to soften, not shrink. To stretch gently, not strain. To meet the moment, not chase it. Because when you tend to your thoughts, your body, your space, and your heart with quiet intentionality, you create the exact conditions where a miracle doesn't just visit you, invite it to stay. Sometimes, the most extraordinary days begin without any ceremony. No lightning in the sky. No sudden voice telling you, this is the moment. September 18th might feel just like that, quiet, simple, familiar. But somewhere deep in your chest, you'll feel the difference. Not because the world around you has shifted visibly, but because something inside you has. You might not be able to explain it in words. Maybe it's a certain stillness. Maybe it's the feeling of your body settling into peace for the first time in a while. Or maybe it's a rush of emotion that comes out of nowhere, tears welling up without any obvious reason. That's not random. That's your nervous system registering that something real has just begun. When I guide people through these energetic transitions, I always remind them that change doesn't always come in noisy, it often comes in nuance. And those who are sensitive enough to feel it before anything around them reflects it are the ones already moving in alignment. That sensitivity isn't weakness. It's spiritual intelligence. It's what allows you to be ahead of the curve rather than reacting after the fact. This is why I always suggest you start these sacred days with some form of intention. Not to control the day but to meet it with openness. You don't need to journal for an hour or set 1,000 goals. Just have one Placia notebook, a folded piece of paper, even the Notes app on your phone where you capture what you're feeling and what you're asking for. Write your desires not with desperation, but with calm curiosity. Let them land like seeds in the soil. You don't need to watch them grow. You just need to know you've planted something real. And because we're not just physical beings living emotional lives but energetic ones living multidimensional experience, it helps to speak to those other levels, too. Sound, for example, is a powerful activator. Certain frequencies have been shown to regulate the heart rate, calm the nervous system, and shift our focus. Listening to 528 Hz or 777 Hz tones not just as background noise, but as something you intentionally let move through you can serve as a kind of tuning fork. A reminder to your entire system that it's safe to relax, to receive, and to expand. Even light can carry a message. That's why I often light a candle on days like this, not to make the moment feel more spiritual, but to give the day a container. A symbol. If you have a yellow candle, it speaks to solar energy, clarity, confidence, illumination. If you have a green one, it speaks to growth, heart energy, and yes, even financial alignment. You don't need to chant or pray over it unless you want to. Just lighting it and letting it burn while you sit in quiet reflection is enough to shift the atmosphere inside and around you. The deeper truth here is that your transformation doesn't begin when the world gives you permission. It begins the moment you decide to act like the person you're becoming. It starts in small choice. Show you start your morning, how you breathe through uncertainty, how you speak to yourself before anyone else does. So if you wake up on the 18th and something feels different, lean in. Don't rush through it. Don't assume it's nothing. These moments don't come with banners. They come with invitations. And this is one of them. Remember, what begins quietly can grow into something life-changing if you have the courage to believe in it. The world may not notice it yet, but your soul does. And that's where all real change begins. Stay with that awareness. Water it gently. And trust your story is shifting, and this is only the beginning. Leo, if you've stayed with me until now, then I know one thing for sure. There's a part of you that's already remembering who you truly are. This Thursday, September 18, is not just another day marked on a calendar. It's not a small ripple. It's a sacred turning point. A day you've unknowingly been aligning with for years. And now, it's here. You don't have to beg the universe for your breakthrough. The universe is already standing at your door, waiting for you to open it, not with noise, not with fear, but with quiet readiness. What would it look like if you trusted that the shift is already underway? If you let go of the story that says, "I'm still waiting," and started living like the one who's already receiving? What if your next chapter isn't about doing more, but about finally seeing what's been trying to reach you all along? Leo, your gift isn't just your courage, it's your light. And that light isn't meant to burn out in the hustle. It's meant to guide, to illuminate, to remind others of what's possible when you lead from truth. You've always had that fire. But now, you're being asked to trust it in a new way, not to fight harder, but to let your frequency do the work. To become so aligned, so centered, so sure of who you are and what you're ready for, that blessings can't help but find you. So I want to invite you gently, but clearly to act. Not out of pressure, but out of resonance. What would happen if you wrote your intention down tonight, and signed it with 777? What would shift if you cleared a little space in your home, your schedule, your heart, just to say, yes, I'm ready? What would open if you allowed yourself to believe that maybe, just maybe, you were never waiting on a miracle, maybe the miracle was waiting on you? Thank you for being here. Truly. Every time you choose to show up for your growth, your healing, your clarity, you're doing something sacred, not just for yourself, but for everyone your energy touches. Every comment, every like, every moment you spend here helps this space eternal mindfulness continue growing, not just as a channel, but as a living, breathing circle of awareness and awakening. And that means everything. So now I'll ask you, what have you been sensing lately? Subtle, unspoken, yet undeniably real? What quiet sign has been calling for your attention? And more than that, are you willing to receive it this time? If this message touched something in you, let it take root. Write in the comments, I'm ready to receive divine financial flow 777. Declare it. Anchor it. And let's keep the energy moving. If this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any future moments like this. And if you know someone who might need to hear this message today, share it with them. Sometimes the energy we pass on is the exact shift someone else has been praying for. And remember, you are not waiting for the light. You are the light. Let this Thursday be the day you finally step into it.